Good day, everyone. So we are now on the chapter 2 of our course, which is on the breeds of different dairy animals. So we will be talking here the different breeds of dairy cattle, the dairy buffalo, and dairy goats as well. So we will be talking here also the different breeding methods and mating systems, and we will try to cover up the genetic evaluation also. Now, before we proceed to look out for the different breeds of dairy animals, I have included it here, the two factors that we should consider in starting a dairy enterprise. So we have the farm location as well as the choice of breed. Under the farm location, I have included here the four important factors that we should consider it. First is the market. So before you proceed in establishing your enterprise as an entrepreneur and at the same time as an animal raiser, you must consider your market. What do I mean from this? So by establishing it, you must be assured that you have a market or consumers that would absorb or that would buy later on your produce with a reasonable price. Then second one is the technology and support system. So ito naman is yung availability ng veterinary services or any support services that you need later on, especially if you are dependent on the services coming from, let's say, the municipal agriculture office or the city vet office. So kailangan the farm location could be accessible to these kind of services. Then third one is accessibility of production inputs. So hindi ibig sabihin that you have a grazing land, okay na. So kailangan pa din ng mga concentrate feeds or veterinary drugs. So ito yung mga dinidescribe dito sa production inputs. Then lastly are the feeds. So basically in choosing your farm location, kailangan the farm should be located in an area where fodder crops can be economically produced, and it is advantageous if crop residues or farm byproducts which can be used as feeds of these dairy animals are available. So what are some of the example for this one? So we have yung mga sugarcane tops, okay, corn stover, pwede din, or rice straw, and among others. Then after considering the farm location, this is now the time that you will choose your choice of breed to produce. So later on, I will be showing it to you some of the dairy breeds that are usually common in the Philippines or that are usually raised, I should say, in the Philippines. So ang major consideration mo lang naman dito are the dairy merits and the adaptability to condition in a given area. That is why I will be highlighting some of the production traits that a specific breed of dairy animal produces para ito yung maging basis natin later on in choosing the right breed of animal. So there are a lot of breeds ng dairy cattle in the world. However, ang mga nilagay ko lang dito ay yung mga breeds that are commonly raised in the Philippines. So we have the Holstein, Jersey, Brown Swiss, Milking Shorthorn, the Guernsey, and then the Ayrshires. Okay, so first is the Holstein. So for this breed of dairy cattle, mainly ito yung tinatawag din natin na Holstein Friesian. And in some books, it says that it was originated in the province of Friesland in Holland. However, in other books naman, of which ito yung susundin natin kasi mas marami yung nagsasabi, no, na this was originated in the Netherlands. Sinabi lang kasi na it was in Friesland also since doon sa northern province ng Friesland and in nearby the northern portion ng Germany. That is yung development ay nag-occur. So originally, ang tawag dito sa breed na to is Holstein. However, through selection and breeding that animal breeders have gone through, that is why Holstein Friesian breed is started. And this was about 2,000 years ago already. And another fact about this breed pala, pag sa USA kasi and Canada, it is named as Holstein. However, in other parts of the world, tinatawag naman nilang Friesian. So to combine it, kaya some of the other books, it says that it is Holstein Friesian. As you can see in the picture, the Holsteins are usually black and white in color. However, in some books, meron tong additional. Instead na black and white, nagiging red and white. Okay? However, pag ganun kasi, a recessive gene occasionally causes yung pagkakaroon ng red and white na color sa breed na to. Then as per its weight, this breed is considered to be the largest of the dairy breeds. Okay, just take note of it. This is considered to be the largest of the dairy breeds since yung mga mature cows usually weigh around 1,500 pounds or 680 kilograms and mature bulls weigh of around 2,200 pounds or around 998 kilograms. And yung kalapad naman ng shoulder niya, it is approximately measured for about 57 inches lang. Then also, aside from its color, the appearance of Holstein for the switch, no, or yung tail niya is actually white in color as you can see in the picture. Then the horns are inclined forward and curved inward as you can see in the picture also. And they do have very large udders kaya sila tinatawag na that they produce the greatest volume of milk among all the dairy breeds kasi in average milk production, Holstein cows usually produce 14,500 pounds or 6,577 kilograms. Then for its ancestor, most present-day Holstein trace their ancestry to Bos primigenus. Next, we have the Jersey. So for this type of dairy cattle breed, this was originated on the Isle of Jersey. So saan matatagpuan itong Isle of Jersey? So the Isle of Jersey is located in the English Channel off the coast of France. Now, in terms of its description, Jerseys are usually cream to light fawn to almost black in color. However, due to genetic variances and improvements, some of the animals have white markings. No? Basta ang tatandaan ninyo dito, for Jersey, they do have black muzzle. And then their tails and tongue are usually black or white in color. And another one, if yung Holstein kanina is the largest dairy cattle breed, the Jersey is considered to be the smallest naman. Okay? So for its weight, a mature cow weighs about 1,000 pounds or about 453 kilogram, and mature bull weighs around 725 kilogram. Now, what about for the horns? So for the horns, the same lang sila ni Holstein. The horns of Jersey are curved inward and are inclined forward also. Okay? Then another one, they have small and strong udders. Ay, before ko makalimutan pala, Jerseys are usually, just take note of this, are relatively heat tolerant in comparison to other breeds and have a reputation as excellent grazers that produce milk with high fat and protein content. So basically, they are adaptable and efficient users of feed that even in poor pastures, they have this excellent grazing ability. Then what about for their production in terms of milk? So they produce mainly for about 4,536 kilogram of milk, and their main ancestor was from the Bos longifrons. Third, we have the brown Swiss. So the brown Swiss was originated in Switzerland. So ang pinakatatak naman nito, if yung mga nauna ay largest or smallest, this is probably the oldest naman of the dairy breeds. So these are the longest lived of the dairy breeds. So for the color pattern, brown Swiss are solid brown as you can see in the picture, ranging from light to dark. And basically, these are large frame cattle. So mainly ibig sabihin, they are large boned. and is structurally sound with a reputation of excellent grazers. And if we look at the population worldwide, the brown Swiss, they are second in total number of cows, from the Holstein as the number 1. For its weight, mature cows weigh of around 680 kilogram, while the bulls weigh 907 kilogram in average. But for the heifers under this breed, they do usually mature more slowly when we compare it to other breeds. Then aside from that, they are heat tolerant. Kaya they are commonly raised here in the Philippines, and mostly yung bulls ng breed na to ay usually ginagamit in beef cross-breeding programs. Now for the milk production, if Holstein ranks first among the dairy breeds in average milk production per cow, the brown Swiss ranks second for about 5,488 kilogram per cow. Then for its ancestors, we have Bos longifrons. Another one, we have the milking shorthorn. So unlike from the other breeds, milking shorthorn is a dual purpose breed. So pag sinabi natin na dual purpose, so it can be used as for meat and milk production. Okay, so it was originated in the northeastern part of England. Then as per for the color pattern within their body, the milking shorthorn cattle can be red and white or roan in color, and they reach a mature weight in average of 1,350 pounds. So si milking shorthorn is usually known for their structural soundness and longevity, and they are also reported to have outstanding feed efficiency in comparison to other breeds that I have already discussed. Then their others are relatively large and strong. However, when we compare it to other dairy cattle breeds, si milking shorthorn ang may pinakamababa na population of registered animals. Then now for its production, it produces around 4,750 kilogram in average, with Bos longifrons as its ancestor. Next, we have the Guernsey, which was originated in the Isle of Guernsey. So just like the same lang din sila ni Jersey. So the Isle of Jersey or of Guernsey is located in the English Channel off the coast of France pa din. Okay, then for its color pattern, Guernseys are tan and white in color, or basically they have any shade of fawn with white markings, and definitely their skin is yellow with a clear or buff muzzle. Okay, and then with its horns, if you could observe it, the horns curve outward and to the front, and basically take note of this, they are medium in length. So intermediate size lang sila. And then unlike with the other breeds, the Guernsey is an early maturing breed, and they are adaptable and have a gentle behavior. So yung mga mature cows usually weigh around 499 kilograms, while for the bulls ay 816 kilograms in average. Then in terms of milk production, with the 6 breeds that were listed, now Guernsey is ranked number 4 with 4,808 kilogram, and ang pinaka-unique sa kanya is yung kanyang milk kasi golden in color siya. Okay, so just take note of that. Golden color yung milk ng mga Guernsey. Then for its ancestor, we have the Bos longifrons. Then lastly, we have the Ayrshires. So the Ayrshires breed was originally originated in Scotland and was developed during the last part of the 18th century. Now, with its description for its color pattern, the Ayrshires are basically do have any shade of reddish brown and white, or mahogany and white, or any shade of cherry red, as you can see in the picture. And with these weights, Ayrshires are vigorous and strong, and they are also just like other breeds that are excellent grazers, of which The mature cows weigh around 544 kilogram and the bulls with 816 kilograms. As for their horns, it curves up and out. Then ang pinaka-unique naman sa kanya is yung kanyang udder, which has straight lines and well-balanced and relatively large and strong. Now for its milk production, the Ayrshires usually rank third among the 6 common breeds that I have presented to you, which produces around 5,307 kilogram in average per cow, and with 2 ancestors, mainly the Bos longifrons and Primigenus. Okay, so those are the 6 common dairy cattle breeds. Now, moving forward, we have the 5 common dairy goat breeds naman. So these include the Alpine, the La Mancha, Nubian, Saanen, and then the Toggenburg. First, we have the Alpine, which was originated in the French Alps. So sa France to. For the color pattern, it can be almost any color except solid white and light brown with white markings. Kasi itong characteristic na to is for the Toggenburg breed, which I will discuss later on. For the height and weight, the Alpine is usually on the average of 61 kilograms. So this is on the lactation period and 30 inches for its height. Then ang main characteristic ng Alpine, which is different mainly from the other dairy goats, ay for its medium to large size niya with its face, straightened and erect ears. Kasi yung iba later on ay mga drooping yung kanilang mga ears. Also, they are popular within the breed or within the dairy goat breeds due to the amount of milk they produce, and they are recognized as the leading dairy goat breed for milk production for about 1,089 kilograms in average milk production per goat. Second, we have the La Mancha, which was originated in the United States of America, specifically in California. So with the other dairy goat breeds, ito lang yung nag-originate from USA. So La Mancha goats come with a wide variety of colors. Actually, they can be of any colors. Then La Mancha bucks stand about 30 inches or more with an average weight of around 75 kilogram. And those about 28 inches and 59 kilograms. Ano naman yung most special characteristic ng La Mancha goats? So the most special characteristic of La Mancha goats ay yung kanilang ears, di ba? Kasi kung makikita ninyo parang wala nang gaanong parang wala siyang tenga kung titingnan ninyo dito sa picture. So it could be really absent or very small external ears lang siya. So they are of 2 types, yung kanilang ears. So one with gopher ears and others with elf ears. So their ears are usually wrinkled folds of skin near the head. Pag gopher ears, shorter siya, not more than 1 inch. And then pag elf ears naman, about 2 inches in length. Then another characteristic ng breed na to ay they are very hardy animals. So they can withstand a great deal of hardships like rough topographical factors and tough na climatic conditions. So in average, a La Mancha dairy goat breed produces around 1,021 kilograms of milk. Third is the Nubian, which is the most popular dairy goat breed. So sa mga to, they are distinguished mainly with having very floppy ears, as you can see it here. That should extend about 1 inch beyond sa kanilang muzzle. So makikita ninyo naman, it is about 1 inch beyond the muzzle. So then they can be of any color. So pwedeng white, black, brown, or mixed with various colored, and should have a convex or Roman nose. Okay? So ito yung parang pinaka-common or pinaka-distinct na characteristic ng mga Nubian. They have Roman nose. Then as for their weight, a doe typically weighs around 61 kilogram and a buck with around 80 kilograms with an average height of 30 inches. Then if we look at it with the milk production, we could conclude that Nubians tends to produce some what less milk than other breeds. Okay? So mas maliit yung or mas mababa yung production ng milk nila compared to other dairy goats. So yung origin niya is Africa, but then there are some books na that tell us na somewhere in Asia and European origin also. Another one, we have the Saanen, which was originated in Switzerland. So they are the largest among all the dairy goat breeds. So dito, ang pinaka-distinct na characteristic niya is yung kulay niya, which is white or pale cream. Pero karamihan naman sa kanila ay white in color. So their ears are medium size, which are erect also, just like for the Alpine. Then as for an adult male Saanen, it usually weighs around 70 to 90 kilograms. Then for an adult female, it usually weighs around 60 to 70 kilograms with 30 inches in average for their height. Then if you could observe it, with all of the milk production capacity ng dairy goats, etong si Saanen ang may pinakamarami for around 1,157 kilograms. So they usually have etong tinatawag natin na large udder capacity and are popular with dairies due to the quality of milk they produce. Okay, so yun yung pinaka-distinct na characteristic naman ng Saanen. And then for the last one, we have the Toggenburg, of which sa Switzerland siya nag-originate. Ang pinaka-distinct naman sa kanya is they are credited as being the oldest dairy goat known sa buong mundo. Okay? So this breed is medium size, sturdy, vigorous, and alert in appearance. Then it's slightly smaller siya than the other Alpine breeds, while for the color, it is solid varying from light fawn to dark chocolate with no preference for any shade. Then the Toggenburg, those have well-developed udder and they are also noted for their excellent udder development. Then as in the average level, a mature Toggenburg buck weighs about 68.91 kilograms and a doe weighs at least 55 kilograms. So yun yung mga dairy or most common na dairy goats na available dito sa Philippines. Then we have the last dairy animal, which is the dairy buffaloes. So here I have listed some of which these are the following: the Badawari, Mara, Sorti, and Nilirabi. So mostly sa mga to, they were originated in India. Okay, so first we have the Badawari, which is from India. So as for the body, as you can see, the body is medium size and wedge shape. Yung head niya is comparatively small. The legs are short and stout, and then the hooves are black. Yung hindquarters niya are uniform and higher than the forequarter. Then the body of this breed is usually light or copper colored and grayish black. So this is a peculiarity of this breed. Then as you could observe it, there is this existence of two white lines, which is called as the chevron, which are present at the lower side of the neck, similar to the sa sortie buffaloes, which I will discuss later on. Then for its horn, they are black, curling slightly outward, okay, then downward, before running backward parallel and close to the neck, and finally turning upward. Okay? Basta tatandaan pag sa mga horns nila, curling is slightly outward siya. Hindi siya inward, no? Kasi may mga buffaloes naman na inward yung kanilang horns, pero ito is outward. Then as for the weight and height, average body height of the mature bulls is around 128 centimeters and around 124 centimeters for the cows. However, the mature bulls can reach around 475 kilograms live body weight, and the cows can reach around 425 kilograms. Next is the Mara. So the Mara buffalo is a breed of domestic water buffalo which was originated from India. But now, this dairy breed of buffalo is already present with the following countries. So the Sri Lanka, Vietnam, Philippines, China, Malaysia, Nepal, Brazil, Ecuador, and Azerbaijan. Then as for the color pattern, it is mainly jet black in color, but sometimes appear with white markings on the face or legs. Then as for its milk production, a cow can produce around 2,200 liters in a lactation period of around 310 days. Then for the Nili Ravi buffalo is okay, sorry for that. Hindi ko nalagyan ng picture si Nili Ravi. So, ito is yung kay Mara Buffalo. Okay, so just search na lang sa internet yung picture ng Nili Ravi. Okay, so for the Nili Ravi Buffalo is a breed of domestic buffalo which is similar sa Mara Buffalo. So it is distributed in Bangladesh, China, India, Pakistan, Philippines, and Sri Lanka. But in some books, it says that it was originated in between the Pakistan and India. Okay. Then the Nili Ravi Buffalo breed has a wedge-shaped body with massive frame. So these animals are mostly black in color, but often have white markings on their forehead, face, muzzle, and lower parts of their legs. So basically, these are large animals as you can see in the weight. So massive yung body nila. And it produces around 2,000 kilogram of milk per year. Then last one, we have the Sorty buffalo, which is a breed of water buffalo, which is found in India. Okay, so the Sorty buffalo is a medium-sized animal with rusty brown or silver gray body color. So yung kanilang head is very broad and long with convex shape at the top in between sa kanilang mga sungay. Then their horns are obstacle shaped and flat. And kung mapapansin ninyo, yung horns, it grows in a downward. So pababa siya. Kung yung ibang buffaloes kanina is upward tapos outward, ito is downward and backward direction and then upwards at the tip forming a hook. Okay, so yun yung isa sa pinaka distinct na characteristic naman ng mga Sorty buffalo. Downward yung kanilang mga horns. Then likewise, the females produce between 1,500 and 1,600 kilogram of milk in their first lactation. But milk production increases after yung kanilang first lactation. Then from second lactation, they are able to produce, or they could able to produce from 1,500 to 1,600 to 1,900 to 2,000 na in their second lactation. Okay, so those are the different dairy animals with their different breeds. Okay, so I have only included yung mga pinaka-common para kasi kung itatackle natin lahat ng mga dairy breeds ng different dairy animals, hindi tayo matatapos. And then it's useless lang din naman kung yung mga itatackle natin is outside the country. Okay, so yung mga tinakel ko doon ay mga available breeds na nandito na sa Pilipinas. So we are now down in the last topic for chapter 2, which are the breeding methods and mating system. So basically, we will not go deeper here since you have already finished your animal breeding as one of your major courses. So pahapyaw na lang ito. I'll just need to refreshen your minds about these systems. So here we have two, the inbreeding and outbreeding. So ang difference lang dito, yung isa which is the inbreeding. Basically lahat ng systems under this ay mating with relatives. Yun yung palagi ninyong tatandaan. Pag inbreeding, it is mainly mating with relative. Then pag outbreeding naman, reciprocate lang. Pag inbreeding, relative. Pag outbreeding, non-relatives. Okay, so let us proceed to inbreeding. By the way, class, etong breeding methods and mating system pala, these are applicable to all species of animals. Hindi lang ito applicable sa mga dairy animals kasi since ANSI 161 etong klase natin, so these are not only applicable sa mga dairy animals. Etong topic na to ay applicable sa lahat ng species of farm animals. Okay? So if you try to recall the mating systems of farm animals that you have already discussed last year sa inyong animal breeding and even in your ANSI 21, if I'm not mistaken, with the breeding systems of different farm animals that time, basically if we say inbreeding, this is the result of or the result from the mating of related animals as I have said kanina, kung natatandaan nyo pa. Okay, so this typically occurs in the progeny of related parents, which increases yung frequency of homozygous genotypes later on. So first type of inbreeding is we have the close breeding. So this is the most intensive form of inbreeding in which the animals being mated are very closely related and can be traced back to more than one ancestor. So example for this is the mating between father and daughter, mother and son, or brother and sister. So if we try to figure out this kind of mating, I have made example for this. So eto siya. So let's just say that A is the male or typically the sire and the B stands for the dam or yung babae na parent animal. So in the first mating of the sire and dam, it will produce 50% inheritance from the parents. So the offspring, okay, so kung makikita ninyo sa first generation, that is 50% from A and then 50% from the dam. Okay, so in the first mating of the sire, as I have said, 50% yung inheritance. Then in the second generation, it should receive 3/4 or 75% of their genetic inheritance from the sire A, because he appears closer in the pedigree to the offspring than he does in line breeding. So they have received also yung offspring sa second generation of only 25% of their genetic inheritance from the dam B or the female parent. That is for close breeding. Now, what about for line breeding? So in line breeding, this is the mating of animals which are more distantly related and can be traced back to one common ancestor. So ang examples nito would be the mating of cousins, grandparent to grand offsprings, or half brother to half sister mating, or yung tinatawag natin na half seed mating. So basically this is parang ano siya, retrospective breeding na tinatawag kasi for example, the merit of a certain ancestor of an animal which happened to be dead already has been realized, and then if it was realized and you have the urgency to regain some of the genetic merits ng namatay na animal, the nearest of which would be that in his sons or grandsons. So it involves a deliberate concentration on a particular ancestor already. So through this example that I have provided, the A is the sire and the B and C are the female parents. So typically in the first matings, we have the mating of A and B and then A and C. So the first generation would be the 50-50 from the first mating and then 50-50 also from the other mating. Now the offspring in the second generation have received 50% their genetic inheritance from the sire A because they appears or he appears twice in their pedigree, as you could observe. Then they receive also 25% of their genetic inheritance from each of the females ng B and C. Okay, so I hope you have understood what is the difference between the line breeding and then the close breeding. Now, let's try to extract the advantages and disadvantages of inbreeding. So first, through the process of inbreeding, basically it increases the genetic purity of the stocks produced. So the pairing of the same genes is increased and the offspring from the mating period become more genetically homozygous. Now, because of repetitions in mating those inbred animals, basically undesirable recessive genes may be discovered and eliminated. Kaya advantage siya kasi as there is a repetition in mating, may makikita ka na magandang traits na pwede mong i-retain as well as if undesirable, you could eliminate it. But take note that inbreeding does not create the undesirable recessive genes, but it merely permits them to be expressed due to increased homozygosity. So the homozygosity reduces the vigor since most recessive alleles in the population are harmful. So ang mangyayari dyan is the decrease in the number of heterozygotes decreases yung fitness na tinatawag natin since some loci in the heterozygote is superior in fitness to either homozygote also. So in this case, si inbreeding can be used as a method of detecting lethal genes, specifically the mating of a sire with his daughters to screen genes at all loci. Okay? Now for the disadvantages, here are the basic ones that we could merely encounter. So first is the offspring becomes more susceptible to various diseases. Kasi, just for example, in piglets, through inbreeding, there is a reduction in the strength and vigor of it. Okay? Then pwede ding merong abortion na mangyayari. And basically, it says here, breeding problems and reproductive failure usually increases. So ano ang mga pwedeng tendency nito? So it might have retardation of physiological maturity. Di sila gaano kabilis lumaki. Then there is a high risk or possibility that may occurrence of abnormalities, just like for example, hernia or cryptorchidism. Now we have the second type of breeding system, which is the outbreeding. So as I have said kanina, when we say outbreeding, this is basically the mating of animals of different families within the same breed. So the animals bred are not eventually closely related. Unlike sa inbreeding na magkakamag-anak sila or magkakamag-anak sila. So ano ba ang purpose nito? Ano ba yung purpose ng outbreeding? So the purpose of outbreeding is to bring into the breeding program traits which are desirable but not present in the original animals. Okay? Then one subdivision of outbreeding is the pure breeding. So basic analysis lang to. When we say pure breeding, this is the breeding of female and male animals with the same breed but should not be related with each other. Okay? So the breeders are able to acquire the best available genetic materials at reasonable prices with this kind of mating system na tinatawag natin na pure breeding. The next one, we have the line crossing, which is the mating of animals from two different uh, lines of breeding within a breed. So the purpose naman for this one is to bring together desirable traits from different lines of breeding. So as was noted earlier, as I have said kanina, the animal crosses are made between midly inbred lines, since lines in farm animals are not deliberately inbred. So line crossing now takes advantage of both the increased homozygosity within an inbred line and the differences between the inbred lines. Okay? Then the third one is outcrossing. Pag sinabi natin na outcrossing, this is the mating of unrelated animals within a particular breed. So here, for it is to be successful, take note of this, when it comes to outcrossing, the animals should not have common ancestors on either side of the pedigree for about 4 to 6 generations. So the idea here is to mate the unrelated animals within a breed that are considered to be genetically superior for certain traits. So that is outcrossing. Next one, this is the most common method. Okay. Na I know you are aware of it already. So we have the crossbreeding, which is definitely the mating of animals from different breeds. So for example, the Holstein dairy cattle, it would be crossed to a brown Swiss. Parang ganon. So that is an example of crossbreeding. Now, what is the purpose kaya? Ba't kaya natin ginagawa ang crossing under dito sa system na to? Basically, it is partly used to make use of heterosis to improve fertility and partly to combine the different characteristics for which the lines were previously selected. Now, take note that while there is no really a limit to the number of possible crossing systems that we can do for it, kailangan natin isaalang-alang yung level of heterosis for the important traits. So ano na nga ulit ang heterosis? If you can remember it, ito yung tinatawag natin na hybrid vigor. Or ito yung part where it makes the crossbreds more productive than either of the parental breeds. Even though the parental, okay, or even though the parents are of similar types, then we have animals with the different breeds as well as the percentage of purebreds needed and in connection with the size of herds sa mga animals na kailangan nating i-cross. Then last breeding system is we have the grading up or yung tinatawag natin na upgrading. So it says here, this is the mating of animals which the sires of an exotic breed are mated with the nondescript females and their offspring from across generation. So basically, ang meaning lang nito, ang pinaka-common dito is yung purebred sires of a specific breed. Kumbaga sa Nubian na dairy goat, this will be mated to a so-called native or nondescript na females like the native goat. Okay? For us, in an effort to develop a population resembling the breed from which purebred sires came. Okay? However, grading up or upgrading, even though as a form of outbreeding, when this is done indiscriminately, this is not sustainable kasi this can lead later on to production of fractional crosses whose performance could be very variable and eventually this could be hardly predictable later on. Okay, so I hope you have fully understood and you are aware to differentiate the different systems of mating. Okay, so that's it. This is now the end of our chapter 2 in dairy production. I hope you have learned something. Thank you.